Good evening, sports fans! Crewbat for the win of the TokenMinorities here today with the PCL Week 6 against my friend Dark Devil. So, this is definitely an important game. We're kind of at a place... This actually is Week 5, not Week 6. My bad, guys. We're at an important point because we're actually at a 500 record and we want to be above a 500 record. Remember the Bob Ross waffle maker? Remember the prize, guys? We need this waffle maker. Alright. So, as always, I will be doing a team builder for this game. Because this person's not in my division, it's less likely that we will play again. So I do want to share my sets real quick, but I'm going to just power through it in a minute or less. Let's go through it. So I'm bringing Thundurus with an expert belt, Thunderbolt, HP Ice, Dark Pulse in U-turn. I'm bringing a Blastoise with Rest Talk. That's pretty cool. Ice Beam and Scald. I'm bringing a Terrakion with Phytanium Z, Close Combat, Stone Edge, Taunt, and Stealth Rock. I'm bringing an Alolan Muck with a Figgy Berry, Gluttony ability, knockoff Rock Tomb. It's pretty awesome for Volcarona. Brick Break and Recycle. Remember the cycle. Remember the cycle of Recycle. Just remember it. So, we've got Deoxys Speed with Life Orb, Ice Beam, Psycho Boost, Shadow Ball, and Rock Slide. So it hits pretty much everything on his team super effectively, which is fantastic. We've packing the Hippowdon last with Rindo Berry, given the type of grass coverage he can carry on his team, particularly Grass Knot, Tough Claws boosted, Mega Metagross. We need it. We need that Rindo Berry. We're packing Slack Off, Toxic, EQ, and Whirlwind for this game. Alrighty. No more fanfare needed. Why don't we hop into this game right now? Alrighty, so as it pertains to lead, I am going to lead the game off with Hippowdon here. I want to do this because it is pretty decent against most of his team in a lead matchup here. And if he leads with the Alolan Ninetales, I can get up the Sandstorm to mitigate his Snow Warning, which is actually what happens. It's fantastic. He's not getting Aurora Veil up anytime soon. That's for sure. Thank goodness for that. I don't like seeing Aurora Veil. It's pretty terrible. So I go to my dedicated switch, Alolan Muck. Alolan Muck gets frozen. Is joining Hippowdon in the Costco frozen food section. Now you can buy your trash frozen. You can buy your toxic sludge frozen. And by the way, I brick breaked there. So this would have done a ton of damage to that dog on the other side of the screen. The Lycan Rock would have done a ton. But nope, we get frozen solid as he predicts that switch into Hippo and goes for the toxic. I mean, yeah, Hippo's a nice switch otherwise, but that's really terrible. We get a turn 1 freeze. Can you believe this, guys? I just want to rant and rave about it for an hour, but I won't. I'm going to Toxic on the switch. Going to Toxic via Alolan Ninetales. It's not too terrible. I'm not that upset about that. I'm going to switch out into Muck. I kind of have to hope it thaws. That's my best bet here. He Aurora Veils. That's fine. Because I'm a frozen Muck that's at about half health. I know he can't touch me though, which is fantastic. He's switching here. Fantastic. If I thaw out by all that's holy, I can break the Aurora Veil and do big damage. And I do. That was the greatest thing that could happen. Thank you, Muck. Muck is vital to this game. Still got the Figgy Berry. It's still got a lot of good things going on here. So we'll be seeing a lot more of Muck later. Ha! You'll be seeing a lot more of Luck. He goes for the Drill Run. That's fine. He's Life Orb, so he's on a timer. Good to know. He sets up Stealth Rocks as I set up a Slack Off because I just really need to get to full health. But seeing what he has in his team, I like the prospect of going for a Toxic here. I wasn't sure what he'd go into, but unfortunately he decides to go into the Ninetales. I think that was pretty risky, to be honest, but he did. That's fine. It's going to get some more Toxic damage off on it. Now, Hippo can't stay in here. This gives me my free switch into my Alolan Ninetales, basically counter, which is Alolan Muck, getting its first recycle off of the game. Hitting a Blizzard, it still does absolutely nothing, because Muck is an absolute monster. So, I am free to go for a Brick Break here if I so choose. He goes into Big Papa. Now that is the Zygarde, and that's pretty terrible. I don't go for the Brick Break this time because I figure I can scout out what he does anyway, and I really need that berry back, so I wanted to recycle. I figured that was the safest play, and it works out pretty well because he goes to Zygarde, so just getting my berry back at that in that exchange is fantastic. He goes for 1,000 Waves on the incoming Blastoise. I really want to Mega Evolve so I get that extra bulk. But I do know this is a very favorable matchup to me because I have EV'd this Blastoise to deal with the Zygarde extremely well. He sets up a sub, I have no problem with that. I Scald, could have Ice Beamed, but I was 99% sure Scald would break the sub. I think I had checked it at pretty much any bulk, any reasonable bulk, it would break the sub guaranteed. So there was really no reason not to. I Ice Beamed this time thinking, oh, maybe he thinks I don't have Ice Beam. Alright, doesn't really matter. So he switches out this time. This is fantastic. I wanted to just get a Scald burn on the Toxapex, and I go for the Scald, get a crit, and burn the Mega Metagross. This is incredible. This is incredible, guys. I can't believe that just happened. That's some pretty awesome luck to make up for the absolute garbage I had to deal with turn 1. Because that actually did make a big difference. I went for a Brick Break on the incoming Lycanroc. It would be dead now. It would be gone. He goes for the Grass Knot on my Hippowdon, which I was kind of expecting. So it's, it is what it is, I guess. But I do pop a Rindo, which means I can at least keep Hippowdon for later. Maybe I'll be able to get a Slack off, maybe not. Then he predicts my Thundurus coming in, but because of the burn, I can live it. Nope, he gets a crit. So any notion of me saying that hacks was equalized? No. He got more hacks right there. Fantastic. Good job, game. Good job, Game Freak. I hope you're all happy. I hope you're all proud. Now, I do something stupid. I should have Ice Beamed there 137.5% of the time. I should have Ice Beamed, because that Metagross was going down anyways. What was I thinking? That was so stupid. Anyway, that was probably my worst play of the game right there. So I'm going to go to Terrakion, because it scares him away, for sure. I want to, that's really all I can do is scare it away. I don't know. I'm going to switch out into my Alolan Muck now that this thing is in. I want to pop my Figgy Berry, and if he goes for any sort of Aurora Veil shenanigans, I will have a Brick Break ready. I've got this one ready. He's Toxic Poisoned. I want to see if I can get maybe Rocks up too. And then I see Heal Bell. That makes me a little bit sad because his poison goes away, the burn goes away, and there's still a Metagross on the other side of the field. So that is really, literally the worst thing in the planet. So I'm going to just Brick Break again, thinking maybe he'll Aurora Veil again. There's really no reason to go for another move. It wouldn't have done anything to the incoming Toxapex anyway. I'm going to go to my Blastoise, which seems like a terrible Toxapex check. Because now, honestly, Thundurus is gone. My Toxapex check is gone because of that crit. And as a result, I don't have much to break Toxapex. So my ways of winning this game have dwindled. And Deoxys is pretty hard to win the game with a Toxapex and a Mandibuzz on the exact same team. The good thing is, even though he Toxics, in spite of all of that, I have a Restox set. And I know, in the long term, I can outstall that Toxapex easily. So now I'm going to go for the Sleep Talk on the incoming Blastoise, and thank God I got an attack there and not Rest, because that allows me to take out the Mega Metagross. Oh, I was really worried for that one. I really was. That was a little scary. He goes into the Alolan Ninetales to get the Snow Warning back up. Totally fine. I've got an Alolan Muck at 2/3 health. Freeze Dry, as long as it doesn't freeze. It doesn't, thank goodness. I can go for a Recycle. I can go for a Brick Break. I have a lot of options and choices here. It goes into Big Papa. That's our friend Big Papa. I do Recycle, which is going to give me half of my health back. Thank you, Alolan Muck, the GOAT. Just coming through all game today. And it's not even over yet, folks. It's not over! So the Hail is going to do a good amount of damage to him. He's going to go, or I'm going to go into Blastoise. He sets up that sub. Now I need to hope I get an attack again and not Rest. If I just don't get Rest, I should be good to go. He's going to Coil. Oh, I definitely need him to not get Rest now. Please do not get Rest as your move. Get Sleep Talk. Alright, that's fine. Let's see. We get Scald. Yes, that will break the sub. Coil Zygarde will not sweep my team today now. As a result of that. And I know I can take any attack, even at +1 from this health range, so he knows this too. He switches out. Totally fine. Toxapex comes in, I wake up, go for that safe Ice Beam. It does nothing, but I was hoping for a freeze. Get a crit! There we go. Yeah, mattered so much in this game. Getting a Scald, maybe a Scald Burn. We do get the burn. Fantastic. He Toxics. I got no problem with that. I can rest for days. Quite honestly, I am so tired right now, so resting does sound pretty terrific. RIL too. I'm going to keep Scalding. It's going to be basically some back and forth action between a Mega Blastoise with Rest and a Toxapex. We can't hit each other, and you guys have to stare at the screen as this boring piece of trash is going on in front of us. So let me just ask, instead of narrating this, how are you? How are you guys? I'm doing okay, just a little tired, hanging in there. I decide to aggressively switch out into Deoxys Speed, which is pretty interesting because he pseudo-aggressively switches out into the Mandibuzz. So that's cool. I'm going to go for the Ice Beam. Let's get some big boy damage. Does about half. Really wish I went for Ice Beam that first time, to say the least. Now Deoxys is down to red health. Can't live for Life Orb Recoil and Stealth Rocks. Not a great situation. It does give me a decent switch into Blastoise here. I want Blastoise to stay around as long as possible, and I see the Life Orb is whittling him down. I'm hoping to hit an attack here. Hoping. I get Rest. Okay, you know what? If I had to hit Rest at some point during this game, that was probably the best time to hit it, because every other time I needed it, I got an attack. You know what? Hippo goes down. It's not the end of the world. We get to set up stand again. It's all well and good. He's going into the Zygarde. Totally cool. I'm going to go into Terrakion, and I know I've got a Z close combat this time, and this move is going to destroy him, throw him into next year. He does stay in, thankfully. I was really hoping he wouldn't switch out into Pex. If he switched out into Pex, I would have been totally screwed. But I guess he was maybe fearing Substitute and some other oddities that I could have probably pulled, especially in the Sandstorm. So he does go into Pex, and now, you know, this game is going to get pretty messy soon. I'm going to go into my Mega Blastoise. He pulls a double switch out and goes into the Alola Ninetales. We'll be taking more damage and everything, but I've realized there's only one way to win this. Let's rev our engines up and get our game on.
This can go two ways, punk. One, you walk away. Two, I walk on your face. Huh? Your choice. My work here is done.
4-3 win. Sorry about going to timer, but a win's a win. Ya boy Danza is out.